Hi, guys. It's Sven from Badass Counseling. So we created the Badass Counseling group on Facebook, and it grew to well over 45,000 members. And we kept getting asked by folks for a support group, a growth group that's more intimate, gives more access to me, Sven, if possible. So the Badass Counseling team got together, and they created Community Plus. For a monthly fee that isn't cheap, you get direct access to me 2 times a month where you can submit your questions directly. Monthly drawings for a small group counseling session with me. Monthly drawings for one-on-one counseling sessions with me. Priority Pass access to go to the front of the waiting list for ongoing counseling with me. Priority Pass access to be considered to be counseled by me on the Badass Counseling Show podcast. Direct access to my top 2 selling video courses, Healing the Soul and Unleashing Your Greatness. Interviews with people who've had success in their soul journey, some well-known and some everyday folks like you and me. And a fantastic opportunity to meet and get to know other men and women who take their healing and growth seriously and who do the work. And a social community feed where folks share their challenges, their struggles, and their triumph. And so much more. So go now to badasscounseling.com. Click on the Community Plus sign-up page for premium content and direct access to me and to like-minded people who are committed to healing, growth, and creating a community of support and happiness.
From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Welcome to the Badass Counseling Show podcast. This is a live taping of the Lightning Round, which is our Sunday episodes that come out on Sundays, available all through the week. It's great to have you here, whether you are tuning in from Utah or Idaho or from South America, any place all across Europe, especially Sweden. It's great to have you here tuning in with us, and of course, across all that great country of Canada. This is the Badass Counseling Show. I am joined in studio by KC over in the booth. That's the letter K and the letter C, as well as Rob the Rocket sitting next to me. Rob, what say ye?
You know, Sven, in a world filled with extreme takers, you are an extreme giver of great advice and truth, and we thank you.
Well, you're very gracious. Couldn't do it without you, brother, and you have a lot of great advice, too.
Okay.
And compassion. All right, we're getting fired up. I got a question right here from user 48715, etc. on TikTok, who says, wife cheated. I forgave her. She still is acting distant after 2 years. How long does this process take? If you and I were in person, I'd simply ask you the question, what process are you talking about? Normally, it would be reversed. That question would be fired at me by the person who cheated. They'd be saying, how long does it take this person to trust me? Because you wouldn't be trusting them. You wouldn't want to be getting closer to them. Why? Because you still wouldn't trust them. Or you'd be like, yeah, I just don't want to be around them. I'm disgusted by her actions or his actions. But what you're saying is, I want to get closer to them, and she's acting distant. You're wanting it, and she's pushing you away. So not only did she cheat, she's acting like a fucking asshole now by pushing you away. And you keep trying to get her closer, and she's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Every time she's distant and pushes you away, she's saying, fuck you. And you don't want it, and you want to know why, and this is brutal, and I'm not trying to hurt you here, okay? I'm really not. This is just the reason that she keeps pushing you away is because she can. She knows she's got you by the nuts. She has you by the nuts because she knows you want her, and she doesn't want you. And you want to know how I know she doesn't want you? Because she not only cheated on you, but for the 2 years subsequent to that, she kept pushing you away. And I'm willing to bet that for a year or 2 or however much time before she cheated, she was pushing you away. Or she was putting on a good show, but I'll bet there were indicators even before she cheated. But she has given you all of these indicators that she doesn't want you. That's why we push something away. When I was done eating last night, went out to eat with my girlfriend. We always sit at the bar because it's better energy at the bar. And we're sitting at the bar with her adult daughter. We're having a lovely time. And we just shared a pizza, just a small one, whatever, and had some of the bread with the oil. And when I was done, I pushed my plate away. Why? Because I didn't want any more. Now, me being me, if there's food in front of me, I'm going to keep nibbling. But eventually I had to push it all away, right? At the end of the day, after I've had my evening cocktail, I push it away. I leave it on the counter and I go up to bed. We push things away when we don't want them. She is pushing you away. And you say, how long does this process take? And I would ask you, and again, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I would ask you the same question. How long does the process take before you get the message? She doesn't have the balls to break up with you. She doesn't want you. But why would she break up with you? She gets all the love from you and she doesn't have to give you a goddamn thing except the middle finger. How long does the process take before you get the message she doesn't want you? And you keep trying. And I get it. I have been there. I have been that little puppy that follows the girl around and says, please like me, please like me, please like me. Will you like me today? Hey, do you remember that? Rob, do you remember that? Was it Warner Brothers? Was it Bugs Bunny? One of the other cartoons was the big bunny or the big dog. And then there was the little dog that would always hop along and say, come on, can we be friends now? Or what are we doing today, boss? What are we doing today? And you're falling around.
There's a lot of those.
Shut up. And he'd swat him away, right? It's like you're being that little dog. Say, hey, am I your friend today? You're going to be nice to me today? What are we going to do today? Do you like me today? And I was that person. So I'm not dogging you. I was that person. I know what it's like to want someone to like you and they don't like you and you want them to be nice to you and they're not giving you the love you want. And that's what you're doing. And you're disrespecting yourself and you're allowing her to disrespect you because you're afraid of being alone. You keep holding on and she keeps punching you in the fucking face. It's like you're holding on to someone's lapel and they just keep punching you in the face. And you're wondering, when is she going to stop punching me in the face? When you let go of her lapel. But you're terrified of that, not because you're terrified of being alone per se, because you're terrified of when you are alone, all those voices inside of you start rising up and going, see, I'm alone. See, I'm no good. See, I'm a loser. See, I'm unwantable. See, I'm not good enough. See, I'm unlovable. And until you face those voices and flush them out of you, even now when you're still in the relationship, she has all the power over you. But once you are no longer afraid of being alone, which really means no longer afraid of all those messages you got somewhere in your past, long before you met her, until you face those voices and begin to flush them out by journaling, by writing letters you don't send, talking to your therapist, using the other tools in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. Until you get those out of you, you're fucked. Because she has all the power over you. Once you get those out of you, you have a superpower. Once you are no longer afraid of being alone, once you are no longer afraid of those voices inside of you, you have defanged them, you have all the power in the world. Because it's like, fuck this shit. I'm not going to let anybody treat me like this. Next question. All right. That was actually a really good question. I love that question. Carly asked the question on TikTok. Why do I keep going for emotionally immature guys? Have seen a pattern. Well, that's good. You see a pattern. Why do you keep going for them? Emotionally immature guys. My question would be actually a different question. When do you realize, Carly, that they are emotionally immature? How early in the relationship do you notice? When do you begin to see the signs? Maybe it's a subtle sign. Maybe it's you ask them a question and maybe it's a somewhat deep question like, well, how do you really feel about that? And they say, oh, it's no big deal. They just are tough all the time, quote unquote, tough all the time. Or maybe it comes out in some other way. How early do you know? And I'm willing to bet if you see the pattern that you continually do it, I'm willing to bet that you probably see that emotional immaturity early. Don't you? And in fact, I'll bet over time you begin to see it earlier and earlier, don't you, Carly? Yes, you do. So then the question becomes, why do you stay in once you see that? If you know it's a sign of emotional immaturity, why do you stay in? See, that's the problem. It's not this sort of meta macro theme of why do I always go for it? The question is, why do I tolerate it when it's small in that moment? And I'm willing to bet you tolerate it because you're afraid of being alone. You don't want to let go, or this guy, he makes me laugh, or he's got such a cute butt, or gosh, this could be the one. No. Until you are willing to stand up for yourself in those small moments, until you are willing to trust yourself, knowing that this mark of immaturity, emotional immaturity, this one time or these two times, I know where that's going to. I know what that's going to turn into. And until you nip it in the bud now and let go of a guy, even if he seems like a great guy, otherwise, if you let that go now, you know where it's going to go. And if you don't, you're walking right back into that exact same pattern. Folks, patterns in relationships begin when it's small. If you don't remember anything else I say, remember that. Small things become big things. If you do not nip shit in the bud when it's small, it will get big. And it's so easy to say at the beginning of a dating relationship, it's no big deal. It'll go away. I can fix that later. I'm sure he doesn't mean, I'm sure she'll do better. Nope. You have to nip it in the bud early and every single time. It's just like training a puppy to not piss in the house. You have to pick up the puppy and take it outside. Pick up the puppy and take it outside. Pick up the puppy and take it outside. Why? Because if every other time or every third time you let the puppy go wee-wee in the house, guess what? Puppy getting mixed messages. Guess what puppy's going to do? Keep going wee-wee in the house, right? Pick up the puppy and take it outside. It's the same way with teaching someone how to treat you. Whether it's in the beginning or later when you realize that pattern is there, if you want to change that pattern, you have to fucking do it every single time. It requires boldness, but it's especially important in the beginning of the relationship because you are laying the foundation for the long term of the relationship. And if you don't, that problem will metastasize. It will become a cancer, and you have the power to solve it now. So I guess, well, Carly, to answer your question, the reason you keep getting into that pattern is because you're not nipping it in the bud when you see it when it's small. That's why. All right. And so you're wondering, how come, basically it's like, how come I go on all these long drives and my car always ends up going off the cliff or ending up in the lake and sinking, and I lose all these fucking cars because they end up in the lake and sinking? Why? Because back 10 miles ago, when it said slow the fuck down from 60 miles an hour down to 30 miles an hour, you didn't. And then it said slow down from 30 down to 10. And then it said road out ahead, and you didn't slow down. And then there were like big fucking cross signs blocking the road, and it said turn off now, and you didn't. You just like blow through that shit. Fuck it. Let's go. The signs are always there, folks. They are always there. But if we think they're going to go away, and they start at some point, but they always start small. And if you ignore them when they're small, they're going to get big, baby. Spike and Chester, Warner Brothers or whatever. Spike and Chester, the dogs. Good call, Bob. Thank you. Bob Rogalski gets a gold star. All right, here we go.
Sven on YouTube, Soul Search says, is it normal when working on your book the second time when your answers are 50% different from the first time?
Oh, boy, I love that question. Is it normal when you're working on either my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, or the other book, Badass Wisdom, one of the other books, is it normal to have completely different answers or answers that are 50% different the second time? Absolutely. Absolutely. I get a lot of people saying, hey, Sven, first time I went through the book, I didn't do the journaling exercises. And I'm like, God damn it. And they said, but then I went back through and I did the journaling exercises. And it was completely different. Or Sven, I did the journaling exercise. I did the whole book the first time. Then I went back like 6 months later or 2 months later, whatever. And after I'd sort of just things that happened in life and I'd made some changes, but I went back and did the book a second time. It's like, it just hit me totally differently. Or I've had people in counseling with me. And then after we've done, just 2 or 3 sessions, which are intense fucking sessions. It's intense shit counseling with me, especially since the first session is 6 or 7 hours long, mandatory, right? And then they go back into the book again, and they're like, holy shit, this book reads completely differently. Is that normal? Oh, you're goddamn right, it's normal. Book will kick your ass, especially second time through, and it'll kill you the first time, and it'll kick your ass the second time. Absolutely. All right. Katie asks on TikTok, how can we avoid being labeled as overrating when trying to cut out that small thing? In other words, what I hear you saying, Katie, is, your partner is saying, oh, you're blowing it out of proportion when you're trying to cut out that small thing or trying to stand up to them to get them to stop doing that small thing. You're trying to retrain the puppy to stop taking a piss in the house. How do you avoid being labeled as overrating? My response to you is, Katie, you're asking the wrong question. Who gives a fuck if they call you overrating or if they say you're blowing it out of proportion? You know what? Here's your response. You think I'm blowing it out of proportion? Okay, I'm not. This is important to me. The reason they're saying you're blowing it out of proportion or you're overrating something, you want to know why they're doing that? Because they want you to fucking stop. So they're trying to insult you. They're trying to knock you back down to size, reassert their power over you so they don't have to fucking change. All you have to say, you have to no longer give a shit about them labeling you. But you're afraid of them fucking labeling you. I don't want them to label me. They're going to label you. Why? Because they know it hurts you. That gives them power over you. Katie. So what? Let them label you. But you've got a journal on if they label me. How does that feel? Fuck that. And write them a letter that you don't send. Fuck you for you and your fucking label. Shove your label up your ass. You know what? I don't even care. Label me all you want. Bottom line is this is important to me and I'm going to stand up. You call me all your petty names you want to fucking call me. I'm standing up because this thing you call little is important to me. Go fuck yourself very much. Right. But they have power over you. If their names, their labels of you make you feel afraid, they have power and they know how to fucking tweak you. And that causes you to back down. Once you're no longer afraid of the label, fuck it. All right. And the only way you're going to be no longer afraid of it is by flushing out all your pain and all your fears of that fucking label. Next question. Brandon on Facebook. Brandon Walchuk says, how do you go about forgiving someone like a parent after they shattered your trust in them? We covered this question, very, very similar question in the last episode of the Badass Counseling Show. How do you go about forgiving someone like a parent? Except the last person wasn't asking how you forgive. That person was asking, how do you cut them out? And that person had been molested and was very upset at the parenting. But you're asking, how do you forgive? Forgiveness, you guys got to understand, is an incredibly important thing in my work. I'm a former clergyman, all right? I've taught at the graduate level, at the seminary level, all right? I have written books in theology, literally formerly a theologian, okay? Some would say I still am, whatever. Bit pretentious, but whatever. So forgiveness, yeah, I consider myself, yes, someone who is qualified to speak on this topic. You know what I say about forgiveness? Wait. Let's put forgiveness over here on the shelf. See, Brandon asked the question. Listen in Brandon's question. He's struggling with forgiveness. How do I forgive? He says, how do you go about forgiving someone like a parent after they shattered your trust in them? So he feels an imperative, a push to forgive this person. He says like a parent, but let's just assume it is a parent. They shattered my fucking trust. How do I forgive them? My first question would be, why do you want to? You're wanting to forgive them because you still want something from them. Well, you might say, well, I want a relationship with them. And I would say, well, what do you want from that relationship? Why do you want a relationship? If somebody cheats on you, I'd ask the person who wants that relationship back that cheated on them, why do you want a relationship with someone who cheated on you? Well, you know, we had a great life, or I want the love, or whatever. That's fine. You can have that. And Brandon, I'm not dogging you for wanting a relationship with your folks, but what do you get out of that? I'm betting you still want confirmation of worth. If a parent shatters trust with a child, that's major. That's major. So why do we wait on forgiveness? Because what happens in religion, what happens in pop culture, what happens in too many counseling offices, what happens in far too many clergy offices is the push to forgive, as if forgiveness takes care of everything. It doesn't. If you do not, and you fucking good, fine people, hear me on this and hear me clearly on this. And I'm speaking to you not just as someone who has had a counseling practice for 30 years, but as a former clergyman. If you do not get out your pain, your rage, your sadness, your hurt, your sense of betrayal, all your feelings regarding this person you're considering forgiving, if you do not get all those feelings out, forgiveness changes dick. It doesn't heal you. People say, oh, you got to forgive for you. It doesn't do anything for you because all those feelings are still in you. They're still there. You just stuffed them the fuck down saying, oh, I forgive you. Oh, praise the Lord. I forgive. No, it doesn't make those feelings go away. I'm a fucking former clergyman. I have preached on this shit. Even if you set the religion stuff aside, even if you don't believe in God, fine. It doesn't make this shit magically go away, people. Just saying, oh, I forgive, and yes, I forgive you, and you reconnect the relationship. Guess what? All your feelings of hurt and sadness and disappointment and frustration and anger and betrayal and sadness and rage are all still in you. It does not heal you to forgive. It doesn't even repair the breach in the relationship because part of you is not repaired. It exonerates them. How nice. How nice. Doesn't heal you. So, Brandon, how do you go about forgiving someone like your parent? If that's your interest, set it on the shelf for now. Put the forgiveness over there. go about the work of healing you. How? Just get the book. As Danielle King follows up in her comment to you, read his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. Why? It's going to take you down into you and force you to do the dirty, ugly ass, scary motherfucking work of healing your soul shit. The pain, the fears, the bullshit beliefs you were taught about yourself. It's going to force you to face all those betrayals of trust and all the shit that predated that. It's going to force you to face all of that. Let me ask you one question, Brandon. You can't answer because we're not in a conversation. What % of the truth do you want, Brandon? And be real careful, my man, before you say 100%. Because a lot of folks, this is the first question I ask of every counseling client. What % of the truth do you want? And they all say, of course, 100%. Some hesitate, but they all say 100%. I say, all right, I'm writing that down. I'm holding you to it. Because the further I dig down deep into you, there's going to be shit you don't want to fucking face. And this is you, Brandon. You're rushing to forgiveness because you don't want to face all the fucking feelings of what you really feel and all the messages you were taught about yourself and all the pain of what the fuck they really did to you. Until you do face that, guess what? Forgiving ain't going to do shit. That's how you forgive. You put it on the shelf. You can come back to it later. There's nothing wrong. You want to forgive later? Fuck, forgive. Go for it, brother. But at that point, it won't matter if you do the work of healing yourself. Forgiveness, that'll be an easy thing to do if you actually fucking heal yourself. All right, much more to come right after this.
So I was telling a buddy of mine how he seems happier. He told me about the book that changed his life. So I bit. I went to the Badass Counseling website and downloaded There's a Hole in My Love Cup audiobook. I started listening to it on my commute home from work, and holy cow, it was a Louisville Slugger to the face. I literally sat in my car in the driveway night after night, listening through to the end of a chapter or doing the journaling exercises. My wife started to see changes. I started to change a lot. My default response stopped always being anger. Now I manage a team of salespeople, and I changed as a leader. I was listening more, not always just reacting. When their numbers started going up seemingly out of nowhere, I knew what the reason was. There's a Hole in My Love Cup is now required listening for any person on my sales team or working for me, and I gladly buy it for them. You gotta listen to this book.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
Woo, daddy. Here we go. We're back. And I got a follow-up comment from Brandon. I'm going to take it real quick. Brandon says, already cut them out. My mom seems to be doing the work on herself, but mostly waiting to see real change. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like that old saying, an apology is an intent, but the actions are the actual apology. Yeah, wait until you see real change, and not even little bits and pieces. But the mere fact that you're looking for real change says you still want a relationship with your mother. You're still wanting something from her, not just a relationship or the camaraderie. You're wanting love. And if you were to drill down, well, then what? And drill down and drill down. You're wanting, in all likelihood, it's one of the A's, as I call them. Attention, approval, affection, acceptance, acknowledgement of the pain she caused, apology. It's one of those or all of those. Why? Because then if you had those, then you could have some peace inside you. Then you could begin to be your authentic self. Then you could finally be happy and live your life your way. I fucking guarantee it. That's why you're wanting it. And the grand mistake in all of this, and there's nothing wrong with wanting all of that or any of that, Brandon. Nothing wrong with it. But the grand mistake in all of that is thinking that you can't have peace and happiness until you get confirmation of your worth from mommy and daddy. That's the mistake. Because fundamentally, that means you are in a prison cell and they and only they have the keys to your cell. And that key is in mama's apron. And you're waiting on her to set you free. But the truth is the jail cell is the myth. There is no jail cell. The myth is that you're not good enough. You're unlovable. You're not worthy enough. You're not worthy of acceptance. You're unlovable. You're unwantable. And that was taught to you by them. And you believe that only they have the power to undo that myth that you were taught about yourself. But every one of those bars of your jail cell are those mythical lies that you were taught. You were taught lies. No child is unlovable, unwantable, etc. All right, next question. Devil Blues, a regular listener to our show. Hello, Devil Blues. Nice to see you on TikTok. Hi, Sven. What kind of parent downplays abuse and offers no apology, saying they won't justify it? What kind of parent downplays abuse and offers no apology, saying they won't justify it? A former parent. That's what kind of parent. Shitty parent, an asshole parent. Let's take it out of the realm of parent, Devil Blues. What kind of person, if they hurt another person and abusively hurts another person, whether physically or verbally, let's say in the workplace, if that person did it in the workplace, what your parent did to you, and they downplayed it and would offer no apology and saying they won't justify it, what would happen to them in the workplace? Rob, who former senior vice president of a massive U.S. company.
They would be an ex-employee.
Thank you. An ex or a former employee. That's exactly right. Why? Because they don't know how to play on a team. They don't know how to own their shit. It's not even they don't know how to. They don't want to. Because I guarantee you, Devil Blues, there are one or two people in your parents' life who they do play ball with, who they do apologize to, whether it's their boss or if they own the company, their customers. You can't treat your customers like that for very long. Make mistakes or be mean to them and keep your customers. That's money out the door. I guarantee there are people in your parent or parents' lives to whom they do apologize when they are even mildly short with them or say the wrong thing or fuck up, which means it's not that they're not able. They just don't want to. They're saying, fuck you. And so, what I find interesting is the very last clause of your sentence. What kind of parent downplays abuse and offers no apology, saying they won't justify it? Yeah, they won't justify it because they can't justify it. I knew what you meant, but you use the word justify. It's like abusing a child. Yeah, there's no justification for that. All right, next question. Sienna Lee Lima says, how do you get over an ex when you work with them daily? It's not the working with them daily. Yes, those constant reminders, they're sort of like triggers, right? But what's being triggered is the problem. See, the trigger is like a lighter or a match that lights a stick of dynamite, but the stick of dynamite is inside of you. You are a ticking time bomb. Not that dynamite is ticking, but play with me. Give me a little leeway there on the metaphor. You've got dynamite inside of you and it's getting lit every time you see this person and interact with this person. Yes, that makes it harder, but the problem is the dynamite. The problem is not the lighter. That means, how do you get over an ex when you work with them daily? You have feelings inside of you. Folks, you want to know something? Do you want to know why so much therapy focuses on, and my therapy doesn't fully focus on feelings. That's like 40% of my work. 60% is core beliefs, which is what my book's about. There's a Hole in My Love Cup and Badass Wisdom. All right. Both are on the website, badasscounseling.com and Amazon, etc. Bestseller on Amazon, top 10 bestseller. You want to know why it fucks you up? Why counseling focuses so much on feelings? Because that's the shit that's fucking up your decision making, people. When we get so supercharged with feelings and you're in a relationship and all this shit's going on, or a family relationship, or your neighbor. I just had a friend of mine at the coffee shop this morning. I had to swing through the coffee shop and I got a bagel double toast, everything bagel double toast, and I got the cream cheese, right? Swung through there and he said, Sven, come over here. And it's three older dudes, cool dudes in our community, and they're banning gas leaf blowers because they're so fucking loud. And this guy's like, Sven, what have you heard about what the city council is doing about gas leaf blowers? Because my backyard neighbor is just like obnoxious every Wednesday, 3:00, and it's so fucking loud. I want to fucking wring his neck and all this shit. And he says, I've known this neighbor for 30 years. And he's all fucking worked up. And he's right. But I'm thinking to myself, dude, I hope he gets all his feelings out so he can be calm and cool, so he doesn't ruin a great friendship, even though he's fully justified. It's like, come on, man, just use a fucking electric, blower. They're not as fucking loud, right? Encourage his neighbor to do that. What's the point? We blow shit up when we act from a point of hypercharged or full emotions. That is why I'm constantly harping on journaling. That is why I'm constantly harping on writing letters you don't send. Sienna Lee Lima, who asked this question on Facebook, how do you get over an ex when you work with them daily? Start fucking journaling. Start writing that ex as many letters as you can that you do not send, do not give to them. Write all your feelings of love and hatred and anger and longing for them and missing them and lusting for them and wanting to grab their tight butt or wanting to punch them in the face. All the things you're feeling, flush it out, flush it out, flush it out. And you want to know why? Because that's the dynamite. All of your feelings are the dynamite. And the more you get that dynamite out of you by using these tools, the less and less and less being around them will charge you. Boom, done on that one. All right, next question.
Hey, Sven, on YouTube, Seth here is in a lot of pain, apparently.
All right, Seth on YouTube.
I've had enough of those around me. My business is falling apart. My family is torn apart. I'm basically homeless living in my shop. I want to leave and do the work, but on my own in a new place away from it all. I don't want the distractions blocking me and do the hard shit for a change, but how do I leave without making my kids feel abandoned?
Seth, first of all, I want to say I'm so sorry for all the pain you're going through right now. I've been there, different precise circumstances, but I've been there. And feeling like life is setting its fat ass right on your fucking head, and not in the good way. And you can't fucking breathe. And your lungs feel compressed and it's just heavy and it's hard. I get it. And you say, I want to get out of here and be able to work on myself and so on and so forth. So you have two choices. Stay and work on yourself in this setting, but you're saying, I don't want to do that. I want to get out and do it, but I don't want to hurt my kids by getting out. And that's honorable and that's noble and totally understandable. And I love that you have such a heart for your children that you don't want to hurt them. I love that. It's beautiful. But here's the thing, Seth. Your children need you to pour love into their love cup. Okay? You presently are so maxed out that what you have in your love cup is a whole lot of crud and pain and not much love in there, baby. That means the most important thing you can be doing in the short term is going about the business of emptying all the crud and pain and shit and rocks and manure out of your love cup. And that means, to your own point, getting out of this fucking relationship and situation to heal yourself, because you're saying, I can't do it in this situation. And getting out of it, starting your life anew in the short term to heal you so that you can also begin to empty that cup and fill the cup with love so that you can long term be a source of love, inspiration, new life, peace for your children. Simultaneously, your children will need to be in counseling. And if you're even thinking about getting out of a relationship, you need to get your kids in counseling now before it happens. That's my recommendation. Get it in now so they can begin to build a relationship. Even if it's just a school counselor, if you can't afford professional counselors, but probably your insurance can for your children, get them building that relationship now with a counselor, with a therapist. Child therapists, child psychologists are just a dream. They are so good at what they do more often than not. I have so much respect for them. Get them in now, okay? But the bottom line is also this. Children who go through divorce, if the parents do the work to heal themselves, if even one of the parents does the work to heal themselves, and if those children are going through therapy, and if those children are surrounded by a company of love, good teachers and friends, and the rituals of their everyday life, they will recover. They will heal. My children went through divorce, all right? In their 20s and their 30s, they have healed wonderfully. They have glorious marriages now. They live well-balanced life, tax-paying citizens. They're happy. Your children, this is not a death sentence, but what they need you to do is clean out the vessel that is your love cup. That is the most important thing, because they need you to be a source of love and acknowledgement and acceptance and approval and light and inspiration in their world. Next question. Evelyn asked the question on TikTok. Good husband, but is not in tune with my feelings. No matter how much I tell him, he won't help at home. All right. And so Evelyn is faced with a choice. And the choice is, do I keep telling him how much he's not in tune with my feelings? What's interesting, though, Evelyn, is you actually are stating two problems in your statement. Listen, guys, to the first sentence and then the third sentence. First sentence, good husband, but is not in tune with my feelings. Second sentence, no matter how much I tell him. Third sentence, won't help at home. First sentence says he's not in tune to her feelings. Third sentence says won't help at home. Do you want him helping, or do you want him in tune to your feelings? Folks, you got to understand that saying, I want you to help at home, that's not your feelings. That's saying, I want you playing on a team and doing your share of the work at home. Okay? That's not a feeling. A feeling is, I'm feeling really sad and neglected, or you don't want to touch me, or gee, my mom's going through cancer treatments right now and I'm fucking depressed, or whatever. And the person is checked out of answering to or being attuned to my feelings. Feelings are one thing. Helping out at home are is a separate thing. So which is it? And which is more important to you? But you say you're tired of standing up and making either your feelings known or your needs at home known, or both. And the truth is, you have to keep trying until you no longer want to try, until you reach that fuck it point Because, I mean, what are your choices? Stop doing it and just eat shit and give up, knowing he's not going to do it, and just stay in this marriage with an otherwise good guy, but knowing he's never going to tune into your feelings and never going to help around home, and accept it. This is your fate for having this otherwise good guy. B, keep standing up, knowing he's not going to change. Or C, up the ante. Or D, walk away. See, the up the ante is the thing. There is a choice before walking away, because obviously you're sick of standing up, comes at a price. But there is an up the ante. See, every time he stands up or doesn't do it, you back down. And I'm willing to say that you back down because you're afraid of something. You're afraid of upping your power. You're likely afraid of losing him. You're afraid of walking away. You're afraid. And so he has power over you. He knows he doesn't. Whatever is happening here, he knows he doesn't have to change because he knows you're toothless. You're a paper tiger. You have no recourse in all likelihood because you're afraid of losing him walking away, something like that. So he knows he doesn't have to change. You're afraid to exercise your power. I'm willing to bet there is a power imbalance in this relationship. If I were to ask you who has what percent of the power in this relationship, is it 70-30? Is it 90-10? Is it 10-90? Who has what percent of the power? Because I'm willing to bet he probably has 70 or 80% of the power in this relationship, because clearly he doesn't give a fuck about tuning into your feelings or doing work at home. And until you are willing to stand up and exercise your power, he's going to keep doing so. And your power is rooted in the fact, I'm willing to bet, that you're terrified of him leaving you. And until you are willing to face that, doesn't mean you have to walk away, but what it means is you're no longer afraid to do it, which means you have to go inside, do the journaling, do the counseling, whatever, go inside and face that fear of being alone. And what is the fear of being alone? Oh, it's the financial, or oh, it's this. No, it's not. What it really is, it's those messages inside of you that say, oh, I suck. See, I'm a loser. See, my marriage broke up. See, I'm unlovable. See, nobody wants me. Those are the feelings that got to be faced. Once you truly face those with all the pain and the self flagellation that goes up with it, until you face that, you're going to be afraid, and he'll forever have power over you. Once you face that and are no longer afraid of all those voices that come welling up in your head when you are alone, and once you're no longer afraid of that, you got a motherfucking superpower, and you'll be willing to stand up and say, listen, no, this changes or I'm out. Okay. Next question. All righty. Got questions flying at me. Here we go. This is from Eddie over on Facebook. In capital letters, mind you. So Eddie's shouting. This is big stuff he's talking about here. I am stuck in a guilt loop. I am stuck in anger towards my ex-wife and her lies. Please help. I'm exhausted. Isn't that interesting? Eddie cites two almost completely opposite things. Anger at his ex-wife, yet guilt. Anger at myself and anger at her. And my question would be why is this anger not coming out? Why is it still in? Why are we not getting the trains moving out of the station? Eddie, what are you doing to get your feelings out of you? It's good that you're feeling all these feelings. That is actually good. That's phase one. But phase two is giving them a point out, giving them an egress, an exit point. Are you journaling? Are you seeing a therapist? Are you actually flushing this out? Not just perseverating on it, but writing it out, going down deeper. Well, why am I feeling this? Where's this coming from? What am I most angry about at myself? What do I feel most guilty about? I would actually ask you, which is greater for you, the guilt or the anger at your ex-wife? Give me a percentage. Is it 70-30, 30-70, 20-80? What's going on here? Begin to identify. We pick it apart and put it down into one sentence. What is it? What is the single biggest thing I'm in one sentence or less that I feel most guilty about? What is the single biggest thing in one sentence or less that I'm most angry at my ex-wife about? Write it out. And then write out answer. Why? Well, why am I most angry? Why it hurt? You got to start flushing this shit out. Because otherwise it just stews and stews and stews until feelings are out of you, they're still in you, and nothing will fuck up your life more than A, feelings that you haven't gotten out of you, and B, core beliefs that you have not identified and gotten out of you. Next question. Here we go, guys. Books and Cats on TikTok says, my husband told me he hasn't liked me for the last 2 years, but still loves me. What do I do with that? Well, first of all, you cry. That's a heartbreaker. I mean, I'm listening to that and I'm sad. To know that someone doesn't like you, anybody. I mean, if the young person that serves my coffee were to say they don't like me, it's just like, ow. Granted, it's only my coffee server, but A, why did you tell me that? And B, ow. Okay. And C, could the other gal over there, could she serve me my coffee tomorrow, please? And D, don't spit in my coffee, please. And E, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Fuck, sorry, Jesus. Okay, but to have the person you love say they don't like you, oh God, that's brutal. So I do hope you're taking time and energy to grieve Books and Cats. You have to, because you've got so much pain in you right now over that. And not only that, you have a massive amount of fear in you right now. Why do you have fear in you over hearing that? Because you're fearing that this relationship is done. I fucking guarantee you. And to me, what that smacks of in the case of your husband is this is slow walk shit. This is someone slow walking out of a relationship. I'm betting, I would bet your husband already knows that he doesn't want to be in this marriage anymore. But he doesn't want to come right out and say it. This is a slow walker when someone says, well, I'm just not feeling it as much. And so they're beginning the process of ending a relationship, even though they probably know they don't want to be in it anymore. And maybe he doesn't fully know, but still it's just, nah, it's usually, or gee, let's be friends. No, you don't want to fucking be friends. You just don't want to come right out and tell me, please, let's just end the relationship now, whatever. And so what do you do with that? First of all, what you do with it is you begin to talk to your therapist or your best friend or your journal or write letters to your husband. As you've heard me say a million times, as you got to start flushing out all those feelings that you're feeling, all the sadness, all the grief, all the rage, all the fear. You have to start getting all those feelings out of you. But then what I would ask you is, Books and Cats, what do you want to do? What do you most want to do? And mind you, I did not ask the question, what do you most want to have happen? Because in that sentence, you're a passive player. I'm asking you as an active player. All right? You are the subject of the sentence. What is the action you want to take? What is the verb, the action? You are the subject. Now, if I were asking you, what do you want to have happen? You would then be the direct object. Something is happening to you. Okay? I'm asking, what is the action you want to take? Well, I don't know, Sven. Well, if you were to speculate, what is it you really want to do? You can change your mind in 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 hours. What do you want to do? Because there is something. There's always something. But I'm willing to bet, and I could be totally wrong, Books and Cats. I could be totally wrong, but I think he's slow walking out of the relationship and he doesn't want to be married to you anymore. That would be my guess. Just because it just screams he's pulling back. He loves you. You want to know one of the things I hear most commonly when people are getting divorced? One of the things I hear, even if it's an amiable divorce, or even if it's a highly contentious, War of the Roses type divorce, do you want to know what I hear? I still love him. I still love her. I just don't want to be married anymore. I just don't like her. The attraction is gone or whatever it is, but I still love them. I still care about them. People think, oh, if you're divorced, the love must be gone. Nah, more often than not, it's still there. Even for the person who is doing the divorce, it's still there. So your husband's still loving you. It doesn't mean he still wants to be married to you, but I'm willing to bet that's what it is. And it could be he actually still, but here's the really shitty thing. If he still wants to stay married and wants you to keep giving him love, but he wants to invest less and less of himself in the relationship, now we're dealing with a real fucking dick. If that's the case, I would ask him, what do you want? And let's see if he actually fucking tells the truth. But if he says he still wants to have the marriage, but basically indicates that he wants to give less and less time, attention, resources, energy to you, then he's fucking using you. All right, folks, on that happy note, again, I'm so sorry that's happening to you.
It's a Smokey Robinson thing. I don't like you, but I love you. You really got a hold on me. That's what it sounds like from his perspective.
Yeah. Boy, that does sound like that.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that was good. I was sort of bringing that one into close. And on that note, Ellie Pistol here says, I'm going through a divorce. How do you overcome the fear? You overcome the fear by going into the fear. You overcome anything by going into it. You have to stop running, people, from guilt, from pain, from fear, from sadness, from all the love you're holding on to and don't want to let go of. You don't run from it. You have to turn and go into it. That's the healing. And that means going into it, feeling it, writing it down, journaling, talking to your therapist. And don't just talk to your therapist about what happened to me this last week. Fucking hell. Go into the deep shit. Go into that fear. I'm so fucking afraid of being alone, Allie. I'm so fucking afraid of, being unlovable. God, I'm so old. No one's going to love me. Gosh, my tits sag, or gosh, my, dick, I can't get it up as much as I used to be able to do. It's writing everything out. All of it. Be as human and as real as you can and flush out all those fears. Keep flushing them. Does that make all the fears go away? No. But does it reduce their chokehold on you? Yes. And what happens? We become lighter. We become stronger. We become freer because we realize you begin to fall in love with you because all those fears, all that pain is what's packed on top of your natural love of your own self. People, you are good. And all those other lies and pains and fears, they're teaching you otherwise. They were taught to you and they've taught you to believe a load of shit. You are good. And it's not about gratitude lists. You don't fall in love with yourself by trying to pump in more good. It's by getting out all the bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself. And the more you do that, the more you fall in love with you. And the more life becomes glorious, the more you have that peace and the happiness you've been seeking the entire time. I love every one of you guys. Thank you so much to every one of you for following the show today, for listening in, for these awesome questions, these amazing questions and comments. And I love how you guys support each other. I'm able to track, as I'm sort of going through here, track how you guys are answering each other and supporting each other and coaxing each other. And it's really neat to watch. Rob, any final comments on the show today?
Yeah, more lyrics pop into my head as we
What do you
go
got?
through these issues. But all this talk about the power imbalance in relationships.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the song Mr. Big Stuff, which I think around 1970, which was, when I give you my love, I want love in return. This is a lesson, Mr. Big Stuff, you have not learned.
Ooh, I want love in return.
Yeah.
That's right.
You better know it.
That's it. And if you ain't getting that love in return, it's up to you to require it. Or you got to have the brass balls to walk away. Any songs about brass balls, Rob?
Oh, there's so many, I could not pick one.
Boy, I can't even think of one song about brass balls. If you want further help, you need to go further into yourself. There is Badass Wisdom, a 366-day daily inspirational meditational, available as paperback and as audiobook, narrated by me, and that's at badasscounseling.com. And of course, the seminal top 10 best-selling book for 64 weeks on Amazon. There's a Hole in My Love Cup, continues to be a bestseller. And so those are available at badasscounseling.com. Now available in German, translated by my man Alex, and Spanish and French. And we just are finishing the Swedish translation by a wonderful woman, Nelly, over in Sweden, from the region of my people down in Skåne and Småland. And so it will have the Skåne Småland lilt to it, and so that will be available in Swedish as well. Thank you so much for everyone. On behalf of my team, KC and Rob the Rocket, have a motherfucking kick-ass day. Woo!
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.